What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 6 of season 1 of Lazarus. We'll be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've had a chance to watch this episode, and we'll do a real quick recap. Very straightforward episode. Basically, with the Lazarus team looking for Skinner, they follow a lead to a cult that is following an AI as a god. The AI is based off of Skinner. There's a whole backstory to it. You guys watch the episode, you know. And they basically send in Leland and Elena. I've remembered 2 characters' names. While we're watching this, I was like, it's amazing how I still don't know any of these characters' names. And then right after I said that, they said those 2 characters' names, and it just went... and it just clicked in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm paying attention now, because I just complained about that, and they just said their names. I need to remember. So... the rest of the team's hanging out and kind of doing Overwatch. They're going in. They got smoke bombs that they're going to set off if anything goes wrong. And we find out that Elena is actually from this cult, this commune. And she's returning. And they return. Or she returns. They're not allowed outside access to the world via tech. You're only allowed to follow Naga, which is the name of the AI, and it's very cliche culty. Everyone acts like a cultist, blah 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 blah. While they are there, they devise a plan to access Naga to try and figure out where Skinner's at. They go ahead and try and do that. They get caught, and the cult decides that they're going to burn them at the stake. Before that happens, Elena talks to her friend who she used to know. I forgot her name.
I also did.
Hana.
Oh, yeah.
Who was jealous of Elena that she left. And they have a discussion about that. But Leland tells her that where his smoke bombs are at when they're up about to get burned to death, which... would have been very awkward if those smoke bombs never went off, because the team would have just sent them in to die. When they're up there about to get burnt, Hana throws the smoke grenades, which signals to the rest of the Lazarus team to head in. Also, the FBI shows up at the same time. And
they've been investigating the cult anyways.
They go to bust the place. Like every cliche cult ever, they try to do a suicide thing. I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, but I did. They fail. The lead guy basically dies, and the rest of them get rescued. And then the Lazarus team ends up getting a memory bank from Naga that they are trying to salvage as much as they can out of that. And everybody's fine. Still haven't found Skinner, but we have another
lead
breadcrumb on the trail.
Yeah, breadcrumb's probably better than lead.
To find Skinner, hopefully. Thoughts?
It was an okay episode, though. It was nice to get some backstory on Elena, because I think she was... I don't know if we know much about Leland either right now, but just another character we got to get to know, and kind of interesting to know that she came from basically a anti-technology world,
which is funny because she's a hacker.
She's now a hacker, yeah. So you could tell like she kind of took it to the extreme when she left, which is also pretty typical to be honest.
Yeah.
And then kind of seeing that her biological mother was there, but you can't have that kind of relationship in that cult. So like
there's no biological bond.
Yeah, the whole organization or group is the family basically. So even though you could tell she is not very happy about that arrangement, because she would like to just call her mom. And then the whole attempt to get the AI thing probably honestly would have been fine, except for they were stupid and divulged their plan outside of a tent where people could hear them.
The whole plan seemed kind of stupid, that they just sent them in. They brought electronics with them, and then they were separated from them, and then they had smoke grenades, but then they get separated from that. They talk about their plan to go after Naga right next to paper thin tents. Yeah. Like it's just it was a weird setup.
Yeah, definitely. And then, even if I guess Lazarus wouldn't show up, the FBI would have, but I would have been too late for the 2 kids. So
Yeah, a lot was riding on Hana doing anything.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't,
It was over for
they would
everybody.
have just died,
Yeah.
and then Lazarus would have been just hanging out that hotel, wondering where the
Till
hell
the
they're
end of
at.
72 hours to discover that, they have barbecued teammates. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, overall, it was an okay episode. It wasn't like a whole lot going on. In fact, there wasn't even any action in this episode either, which
there was
is
Axel
fine.
running around in a parking lot.
He was getting his exercise because he just does not sit still.
Yeah,
So,
he's got the energy of a cat at 3 a.m.
yes, he does. So, but yeah, overall, it was fine. So,
This was my least favorite episode of the show. And I'm not saying it's bad. It was fine, but didn't really offer me much. The only thing I got out of it that I even like is that they got the memory bank from Naga that might send them to the next case. Other than that, though, the way they portrayed the whole cult situation was like super cliche. It was like every cult story ever, that they were going to all just like self-delete, I'll put it that way, in a instant, in a moment, without even much dialogue about that. Was also super cliche. And it's fine. I mean, it's fun to play with the idea of a cult following an AI god, basically. But I don't know. There just wasn't much with the story that was interesting to me outside of maybe giving Elena some backstory on where she comes from, which I think this show is like severely lacking in terms of like all the characters, and me feeling anything towards them is like there's not a whole lot of depth to them. So I want that. But you could have told me she was from like a tech cult, and that would have been enough. But that we saw it, that's fine. But we didn't get much from it. It's super simple, not a whole lot of depth in terms of like her connections with people. We got some very shallow scenes of her, being upset that she doesn't really have a connection with her mom. But it was like a millisecond, and then her connection with her old friend was also super shallow. So, and there's only so much you can do in one episode, but they fit like a lot of stuff into this one episode that kind of just flew by quickly. We went from them showing up to them being almost burned alive really quickly. And so we don't really get much to chew here, but maybe I would have been complaining if we spent too much time here and we didn't get the story rolling. So I don't know if I could have been happy either way from this story arc. But like I said, getting some positive out of it. I am glad we got some background on Elena because, again, I think a lot of these characters are missing depth to them that makes me want to like them or not. They're all serviceable so far. The whole Naga thing was kind of interesting. It's based off Skinner, but it's also kind of shallow as well because it's just like we don't even know Skinner that well. We know that he, is involved with everybody potentially dying off, but we don't have all the details, so that we're just going like, oh, Naga's the same. It's going to basically want to kill everybody off and be a god or whatever. It's like, okay. I mean, that's... I feel like I feel like we could have explored an AI god in a cult a little in more of an interesting way, maybe. So I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with that. And then the episode had no action in it really, which I don't watch the show for the action, but when the action's there, I enjoy it because it's animated really well. It's super creative and well choreographed. But we didn't get any of that either. So a story that I wasn't super impressed with, and no action. Underutilized other characters. Leland's he's involved in like every operation in this show. Every time anyone does anything, he's part of it. So I'd like to see some more people, maybe get some front and center.
Well, we know if it's Axel, all he's going to do is go in and have a slow motion fight in an elevator or something. So,
which is fine. I'd rather watch that than Leland get chased and almost killed constantly.
True.
But yeah, I wasn't super into this episode. That's fine. It served a purpose. We actually got something at the end of the episode, so it wasn't a waste of time. I am curious about what happens in the next episode, though, going from here on out, because every episode now feels like something's happening in the pursuit of Skinner, but I don't feel like we're getting any closer. And every time they go to do it, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So at least they got something. out of this that hopefully we get something from in the next episode. But I still like the show. Still, obviously, like the world and the world building and the character of the world. I was going to say the characters, but I'm not super in love with any of them yet. So curious how they're going to continue the show. But yeah. Got anything else?
No.
All right. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. Maybe, what are your favorite parts? Maybe least favorite parts. Maybe you have some complaints about it. Maybe there's something that happened in the episode that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about. Let us know in the comments. And where do you think things are going from here? How are you feeling about the show so far? How do you feel about the characters so far? This is my biggest struggle with this show so far is I'm not like in love with any of the characters. They're all cool, but I'm not super attached to any of them. So tell me how you feel. There's no wrong answers. Everybody feels the way they feel about it. And yeah, what else is there to think about when it comes to Lazarus? And if you have recommendations for shows, movies, animes that you like us to watch, can't guarantee that we'll watch them, but we will definitely take them into consideration. Although next season is going to be difficult because we have multiple shows to be watching. I think Kaiju number 8, Dan to Dan. Is
the third one.
Demon Slayer happening?
No, it's Dan to Dan, Kaiju number 8.
Sakamoto Days.
Sakamoto Days, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little packed, but all shows that we want to watch more of. So although Sakamoto Days, I think we're going to do a seasonal review unless I get really into it. We'll see.
It's just going to be hard to do 3 shows anyways.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I agree. It's hard right now to do this show and then watch Shogun, which we need to watch more of, but every episode's an hour long, and after work it's a little difficult. So, yeah. But we'll get it knocked out. But yeah, recommendations always welcome. That's gonna do it for this episode, though. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy, and until the next review, we'll talk to you guys later.